Have you ever stopped to think about how many decisions you make in a single day? Some experts suggest adults make 35,000 decisions per day. Children make around 3,000.
I guess that means high schoolers like us fall somewhere in between. Either way, the number is in the thousands. What to eat, what to wear, where to sit, what to say, how to say it.
And we probably make as many decisions online as we do in real life. What to post, who to friend, when to comment, when not to comment.
Most of these decisions have pretty low stakes. Do you remember what you had for lunch 3 Wednesdays ago? Probably not.
But throughout high school, we will face countless moments where we must make very important decisions. And the thing is, you get to decide. It's on you.
And when you're faced with a big decision, like if you're going to take that pill or if you're going to get in the car with that friend who's been drinking, maybe take a second and think it through.
Hey there, and welcome to Brain Center, the show where we play back highlights from Kyle's day live from inside his brain. Kyle's a senior with a 3.2 GPA. He's landed a soccer scholarship at Edmond University for next year, and he got his braces off 2 weeks ago. Congrats, Kyle. Friday was a routine school day, but most of the action happened after school while he was studying with Marcus.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Marcus is also a senior and Kyle's best friend since they both first started playing Minecraft in the 2nd grade. All right, let's jump into those highlights.
You know what would make this better? Some snacks.
Okay, so we have a classic snack attack situation.
Totally.
Kyle stands up, breaks to his left, headed straight for the fridge. For more insight on this decision, let's kick it over to Lisa.
Lisa Limbick here, reporting live from the hippocampus. It appears that Kyle has a memory of some cheese sticks hidden somewhere in the fridge. He's pretty sure he hid them 2 days ago from his little brother.
Thanks, Lisa. So we've got some Sunny D, some purple stuff. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. Kyle finds an alcoholic beverage. Lisa, what's going on in Kyle's memory here?
So at this point, Kyle remembers a few facts about alcohol that he learned from a very informative and cool video that his teacher forced him to watch. He remembers that alcohol can be very damaging to an underage brain. He also remembers that it's illegal and that his parents could get in trouble for providing alcohol to a minor if he decided to drink it. Let's also not forget that Kyle's future is on the line. Getting in trouble for underage drinking could compromise that soccer scholarship.
Wow, that video does sound cool and informative. It's a good thing teachers still make their students watch those types of videos. Let's see what happens. Nice! Kyle passes on the booze and finds the hidden cheese sticks under the carrots where he left them. He's making it look easy.
Some snacks?
Great call by Kyle. So far, so good.
Hey, check it out. Wanna try one?
As you can see, Marcus has some Oxycontin he found in his parents' bathroom.
This specific pill is an extremely addictive opioid. In 2020, almost 100,000 people overdosed on opioids, and many of those people started with a single decision, just like this.
Yep, this one's a no-brainer. Let's see what happens.
No thanks.
Let's watch that again in slow motion.
No thanks.
I just got news that Marcus put the medication back in his parents' medicine cabinet later that night.
And our top highlight from Friday comes an hour later. Marcus has gone home and his friends Darren and Stacy pull up to pick him up for a movie. As you can see, Kyle gets in the back seat, gets situated, and puts his seatbelt on. And as the car starts to back out of the driveway, Kyle starts to smell booze in the car and notices Darren is drinking from a water bottle.
That's right, Chad. The classic hide vodka in a water bottle gimmick. He isn't tricking anyone.
All right, Lisa, what are Kyle's options here?
Well, Chad, this is a very dangerous situation, but he does have a couple of options.
All right, let's go. Whoa, hold up, my dad's calling.
Thinking fast, Kyle pulls out his phone and fakes a phone call from his dad.
Sorry guys, family emergency.
Brilliant move. Kyle's out of the car and tells his friends that there's a family emergency and that he can't make it.
So the lesson here is, whatever you do, you have to think of a reason to get out of that vehicle.
That's right, Chad. We have no idea how much Darren has had to drink, and getting in a car with someone who's been drinking is one of the most dangerous situations you can be in.
An action-packed day here at Brain Center, but Kyle made it through with flying colors. Join us on Monday to see if Kyle finishes studying for his chemistry test or if he wastes his entire weekend on TikTok.
Have you ever wondered why alcohol is such a big deal?
On one hand, there are commercials and product placement for beer and liquor everywhere.
On the other hand, we're constantly hearing messages on how we should never go close to it. What exactly is the message here? What are we to believe?
The truth is, it's complicated. There are a lot of layers to this discussion, and anyone that chooses to drink does so for different reasons.
If you're watching this, you've probably had some interaction with alcohol. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you've decided to wait till you're 21. Maybe you have no interest in it at all.
We've all had different experiences, and sometimes it's helpful to hear other perspectives.
Whatever your experience has been, keep an open mind. We can all learn from each other.
I'm Levi and I'm 18.
I'm Myra and I'm 17.
I'm Zell and I'm 15.
I'm Sophia and I'm 17.
What are some of the pressures you feel right now?
I definitely feel pressured kind of by my classmates and by my teachers and stuff like that, and by my parents and family, just to perform well in school.
Kind of like that, just like, what is your next steps? What are you planning to do? You need to like have all these plans in line and like know where your future is, but that's kind of like you don't really know that very often.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure to kind of know what your future holds.
I would probably say for me it's more on the sports side, because like my coaches tend to think of me as a leader. So me just performing right and leading by example, and then academic-wise, I'm doing 2 sports at the same time, soccer and football, so just trying to keep my grades up so I can play those sports.
How do you cope with that pressure?
So I kind of see better eye to eye with some friends that I have more close interests with than my parents. So I kind of cope with my pressures with my friends in a way, I guess.
I think I'm like the same way. Like when I go to my parents, sometimes the advice that they give is like, no, like they just don't understand you like how your friends do.
So yeah, I would agree. My friends help a lot coping with that, especially since we have the same classes together. It just makes it easier to joke about assignments or talk about things. Another thing that helps me is hobbies. Like I enjoy dancing, I enjoy singing, and those kind of stuff. Doing that is like a good distraction, and it helped me.
What were you taught about alcohol?
I feel like I've had a lot of conversations about like substances, specifically alcohol, with my parents. They have always taught me that it's really dangerous, and I think that that basically what they've told me is that it's really dangerous and that a lot of people don't realize how dangerous it is until it's too late. So a lot of the conversations I've had with them have been them talking to me about, you know, you just need to be careful and you need to, you know, check yourself like every time that anything like that happens. And of course, wait until you're of legal age to drink. But if you ever do start drinking when you're 21 or older, just like know how many repercussions it could have potentially. And of course, like never drive while drunk and never drive while you are drunk. And just be careful with it all because it can be very dangerous. How is alcohol talked about at your school?
I think mostly what I hear about alcohol is just like kids who party and stuff. Like, oh, this was so good, man. Have you tried this mix together? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that it's very like it's just expected.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be because, like, obviously when we're in high school, we're not of legal age, and it's just like for someone to have a party and there not be alcohol, it's surprising, which it should be the opposite because like we shouldn't be indulging in those kind of things, and it's kind of thought of as a fad, I think, and like the cool thing, and I don't see the appeal in that.
And I think it almost becomes a thing like, at least in my experience, like with my classmates at school, they get to the point where they feel like they can't have any fun when they're hanging out together unless there is a substance there. And I think that's one, it's kind of interesting to think about because then it's like, are my classmates really like the kind of people that just can't like hang out with each other and like make conversation and like have fun when they're together? Do they have to have alcohol? Because then all the fun's happening in your own head. Like really, you're not having you're not being with anyone. Like it's the substance that's doing something to you. So I just think that's really dangerous and it freaks me out for sure.
And I think that connection is important to make when you're sober and because if you can only make connections if you're drunk, then you're never going to be able to have a real connection.
The connections aren't with other people, they're with the alcohol, and the alcohol's happening with other people. It's not,
It's very surprising how hangouts and parties, like it doesn't matter if you're at a party now, like you can be at a hangout, coming with friends, and they're like bringing alcohol, and it's kind of like, I thought we were just hanging out, and they're like, yeah, we are, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide not to drink? I think that I made that decision because I saw the people that I was friends with at that time make the wrong decision and saw how that affected them and how they changed. And like, I remember being in like 5th grade maybe and everyone being so happy and not needing like anything. Like just an imagination could make us all so happy. And then as we got older, I saw these people that I was friends with just kind of start to fall away, and I saw like what they were doing, not only alcohol, but like other substances. And I just saw how their emotions changed and how they were depressed and weren't really doing great in school and didn't have many friends anymore and were just not the same person as they used to be. And so that really made me step back and like make sure I was staying in my stance of not drinking or doing any substances. And I'm really glad that I stayed there because I could have been one of them and I would have really regretted that.
How has choosing not to drink impacted your friendships?
I think that I've lost some friends, but I think that that was kind of needed so that I could avoid that. Like freshman year, it was us, and it was all like sparkling water or whatever, but no alcohol or anything. And then I started to see them develop into having alcohol at those parties, and then I just kind of distanced myself and found a new group of people who weren't into that. And so I think that it just really changed who I was friends with, which is a good thing for me, I think.
I think that kind of like that, I do still hang out with some of my friends that I know drink, but I've never like pretended like I have a different opinion about alcohol than I actually do. If they ever like ask me about it, if it ever comes up in conversation, I've always told them like I don't do it. I don't think you should do it. I'm not gonna like hit you over it or something like that. I'm not gonna like bully you about it, but I am gonna encourage you to stop because I don't think it's healthy. I know it's not healthy. You know, the friendships that you might lose just because you decide not to drink are maybe friendships that needed to be lost and needed to maybe not continue on. So yeah.
And I think that also you said like offering them help, not just like dropping them as a friend completely, unless like you're unsafe, of course. But they might not want to be where they are with alcohol, and they need help, but they don't want to ask for it. So someone on their inside circle could potentially help them out of that. And I think it's important not just leave them in that, but kind of offer them help as much as you can within being safe yourself.
If you choose to drink or do drugs while in high school, you might not get caught.
If you do get caught, there could be some serious consequences.
It may not ruin your life, but you may miss out on getting to do some stuff that you really want to do. Or you may get stuck doing some stuff you really don't want to do.
But getting caught isn't the only bad thing that can happen. Drunk driving is a leading cause of teenage death.
Even though fewer of us drive than other age groups, impaired teens cause about 1 in every 5 fatal auto accidents in the US.
That means last year, nearly 2,000 people, many just like you and me, killed their friend, family member, or someone else because they chose to drink and drive.
Opioid addiction is real, and overdoses killed almost 100,000 people in the US in 2020.
So for your own sake, for the sake of your family, your friends, and your community,
stop and think before you do something you can't take back.
Look at her, she danced. I know, she was so cute though. She's just so cute. Dear Mom and Dad, I have made some goals for the 6th grade and I would like to share them with you.
Never get a detention, get all A's and B's, improve my math skills.
Duh.
Not be shy and just do my best. I hope you like my goals. I'm having a great year. Thank you for all
your support, love, and kindness.
And thank you for being the best I can be. Love, Tony.
Look at that beautiful little girl. There's Mom and Tony. Oh, decorating the tree. I mean, she's really a pretty good artist. I mean, look at that. That's pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty good. There's no velvet so soft as, oh, please don't make me. As a mother's
grip. No rose as lovely as her smile, no path so flowery as that imprinted with her footsteps. And that was when you two were holding hands. She was just the most beautiful kid. Daddy's little girl, my only one. Always loved to laugh and giggle.
She used her beauty inside and outside to be friends with people that weren't always so popular or were probably picked on or humiliated. She was just that kind of a person. There really wasn't a moment that we had anything bad that ever happened. We were a happy, happy, happy family. It was a Saturday morning, and I called Tony, and I said, you know, honey, the roads are going to be really bad tonight. Do not go to work. Just say you can't come in.
She'd apparently gone to work that Saturday, never came home. We had no idea where to even begin to look. And of course the police wanted to talk to us and get access to her apartment and try and find out what we knew, and not knowing it was going to be so long. It was 56 days.
When your child is missing, there's nothing, words can even explain how you feel inside.
My cell phone rings and it's the detective, and said, we think we found her car. And then finally Dennis called again and he said, it's a blonde female. And at that point my heart just broke and I just couldn't believe that she was gone. But I knew. They told me that her work that night, the bartender, the manager, and the bouncer, they proceeded to serve her. And Tony wasn't ever a drinker. She was always the designated driver. We don't know why, and we never will, and that's the hardest part.
They served her so much alcohol, and her fellow co-workers and the manager where she worked let her go and said she'll be fine. Next thing we know, she's parked going the wrong way at a stoplight, passed out at the light.
You can see a police officer drive through the intersection, circle back, and come up behind her. Still nothing was different, knock on the windshield, and then proceeded to ask her what she was doing, ask her for ID.
The police officer said, well, I'd like you to go over to the gas station across the street and collect yourself. A police officer stayed there for a few minutes and was talking to another police officer that had showed up in the parking lot, and they both left. Next thing, Tony is in the store, wandering around the store, so out of it. Anybody, a store clerk, he was there, he saw it, they interacted.
She got back in her car. She just barely missed hitting two vehicles on the way out of the parking lot.
Which then she ended up in a park next to the Missouri River. She drove herself down the boat ramp. And they say she looks like she tried to get out, but the cold weather and the water, even though she was an awesome swimmer, overtook her. I'll never forget the police officer saying to me, it's a good thing she was drunk, because she didn't feel anything, there was no pain. And, what do you say? I'm relieved? No. I want my baby back.
We think of how many different ways that could have been prevented that day, and the people that could have stopped that, whether it be the people at her work, the guy in the convenience store, the police officer, absolutely. We wish she would have been arrested. We wish she would have been in jail. Lose your license, I don't care. Because none of that would have been as bad as what happened.
We have lost the love of our life. This beautiful, vibrant girl who made one mistake. One mistake.
My face to the sea and my back to the land.
I hope somebody can listen to a dad who's been through hell that can try and help save one kid. Because your parents don't want this, your friends don't want this. You have so much future, and to throw it away over a bad decision, it's just, so please don't.
I'd do anything to get my own life, to have her. I'd do anything to have her back.
Some things are left behind.
That story you just watched was real. And no one involved would have ever expected any of that to take place.
While we can't prevent every potential tragedy in life, we can make simple, one-time decisions that eliminate 1,000 decisions in the future. Here's what I mean.
You can either wait until you're at a crossroads with someone who offers you drugs or alcohol and make the decision in that moment.
The thing is, you may feel considerable pressure. It may be really hard to say no over and over again.
Or you can make this decision ahead of time. You can just decide now that you're not going to drink until you're 21.
Then you don't have to make that decision a dozen different times when it's offered to you. You've already decided.
You can do this with anything. Decide now that you're gonna wait to drink. Decide now that you're not gonna live a lie.
Decide now that you'll never get in a car with someone who's under the influence.
Decide now that you're going to be true to yourself. Save yourself the mental agony and decide what you're going to do ahead of time.
The choice is yours. We really hope you choose to be safe and sober.
So I wrote Be the Perfect Student, and I chose this because trying to live up to the expectations makes me lose a part of myself, because I would be spending time doing things that don't really make me happy.
I wrote like always win, like in the way like you can't always win. I wrote this because like I always like want to win, like every time I'm like playing a game or like basketball, I always want to like do my best and just win. If like we don't win, I'll like probably like put the blame on like someone else like before myself, or like I'll like put so much blame on myself, then like I don't feel like I did anything right when there's like something that could be doing right, and I could just learn from that like loss.
I wrote down that you always have to be happy, because I feel like, especially with teens my age and even adults nowadays, there seems to be this stigma that you're not allowed to show emotion and that you always have to be happy, but that's just not true. I mean, we're all human, we all have the same emotions, you're not the only one going through it, so opening up about that can really help you in any situation that you need help. I feel like it does everyone a favor to talk about their feelings and not just tell themselves that they're always happy, because obviously we're not always happy.
The next expectation I have is never allowed to fail, which kind of feeds into perfectionism, because you don't think you can ever fail, and if you do, you're like ruining your life. People continue to work and work when they don't think they've reached that limit, and often people use things like alcohol and substances to try to help cope with that need and to keep going.
As I've seen it with like people that I know at my school who have tried to do it all to, to make a really good college resume or something, or live up to other people's standards, and they actually resort to going to other methods of coping with their anxiety and stress from it.
It's important to avoid those because they have very bad turnouts, and what happens after you get into that, it gets addictive and it continues to happen, and that is not a good way to go. It's important to live true to yourself and not under the expectations of others, because you're your own person and you're not like everyone else, so what you do is unique to yourself, and if you're like everyone else, that'd be a very boring world.